What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, for the past few hours, I've been scrambling to try to find some more information on a sad story of domestic violence that resulted in the death of this young lady here. This woman up here, pictured as Kobie Norris of Detroit, Michigan. This woman's body was found. She was found deceased in a place called the Bellaire Inn in Detroit. She was only 24 years old. Person charged with it was an on-again, off-again boyfriend whose name is not listed in this story I'm about to tell you. And this happened, like I said, on May 7th. And I haven't found any news article or anything, as pertaining to his name, how old he was, cause of death, so on and so forth. But in this video, the mother speaks out against domestic violence and the warning she tried to give her daughter that her daughter didn't pay attention to. And that's one thing, when you're young and you're an adult, a lot of times people think they got it figured out, especially when it comes to affairs of the heart, regardless if they're abusive or not. A lot of times people think, nobody understands this person or this situation except them. You got to realize life is cyclical. Everything goes in cycles. Whatever you as a human being are going through during human interaction, somebody else somewhere somehow has went through the same exact thing and handled it differently. It's unfortunate this young lady who seems to be attractive lost her life. And hopefully, it could have been prevented, I think. Listen to what her mom had to say.
She was the star, of the light. She was beautiful. She did not deserve this.
24-year-old Kobie Norris found dead at the Bellaire Inn on Jefferson in Detroit. It was May 7th. Police ruled it a homicide and arrested Kobie's on-again, off-again boyfriend.
I begged my daughter, I said, do not go back around this man. She told me she was done with him, but you know how that go. She told me she loved him. I said, Kobie, leave him alone, or he gonna hurt you. So he gonna take your life.
Kobie's mother, Deandra Smith, says she talked to her daughter about domestic violence all the time.
My daughter already know. We will watch the news all the time. She know about life and what these men would do, and be careful about the vibes, the situation, the conversation. Pay attention. She noticed I taught her.
Deandra knows nothing will bring her daughter back, but she hopes her story will help others, perhaps prevent a tragic turn of events like Kobie's from happening again.
If a man put his hands on you, he don't love you. What is love? That ain't love. He don't love himself. Why would you put up with something like this?
In Detroit, Camille Mary, Fox 2 News.
All right, guys, that's the story. May Kobie Norris rest in peace. It's so upsetting nowadays to see how many people, especially guys nowadays, can just destroy somebody that they coveted at one time or another, whether it's in a fit of anger or just jealousy that spurns the anger, to where they get to the point where they want to just, when they get mad enough, they just destroy everything they think they're fighting for, to convince to see things their way. But most of the time, it's the blind leading the blind. It is. Mom said some very serious, accurate things. Man hits you, he don't love you. Hell, he don't even love himself. I've been saying that for the longest time on my channel. If a guy ain't got himself balanced, you know what I'm saying? If he's not in a balanced state, you see stuff like this. Because I'm going to tell you something. Every man, whether they realize it or not, has to understand their why and why they're here, what their mission is moving forward in life. And when you have somebody, that doesn't know their why or who they even are, stuff like this happens. Looking at that woman, don't matter what I'm about to say or not, but she's an attractive girl. There'll be a lot of guys that would like her. A lot of times when women are pretty like this, it can also be, beauty can be considered a gift, and it can also be a curse. I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you. A lot of times, these girls mess with dudes that don't even look. That's why I'm anxious to see what this guy look like. Look like they belong in the same picture, let alone the room with a girl that's attractive. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times these guys know this. A lot of them are broken males. And they'll do and say anything they can to get a one up on that person to make sure they don't look at nobody else and keep the focus on them, because they know that they internally know that they are less than, and they're lucky enough to have somebody like, the deceased. And it's the truth. Same thing with women. Women find guys that they know are good men, but they act the fool because they can't relate on that level, and they try to scare everybody else away from seeing what this person is or any threat they perceive that can stop them from being with said person. I know as the mother, man, and my heart goes out to the mom, man. It's a hard feeling knowing you talk to your daughter, 24 years old. You talked to her and said, hey, man. And she said the right things. Leave it alone. But I'm going to tell you something I noticed. Seems like a lot of times in relationships, especially on the female side of relationship, when it's dealing with abuse and stuff like this, a lot of times, just like she told her mom, but I love him. I think a lot of people confuse love with loyalty. You can love somebody and they cannot be a match for you. Your love just classifies as your respect. The loyalty is to follow behind the leadership of a man that ain't going nowhere. And obviously, this guy risked his freedom, took her life, all because he couldn't get his head straight. See, all of this always comes down to self-esteem issues. Whether it's in the one that's doing a killing, or the one that follows behind the guy that winds up killing him. Now, I don't know what this story is. I mean, it's so much is missing out of the story. But I will say this. A lot of times, stuff like this happens when you see a lot of times women want to change how a guy is. Even at a younger age, I always thought about this. How can you get into it with somebody physically and then expect everything to be the same before the physical altercation took place? He said she loved him. Ain't that much love in the world to have it where she sacrificed what everybody was telling her to where she is right now. If she had a chance, I'm more than sure she would have took it, because they got a history of violence. The mom already told her, this dude gonna kill you. They thought she knew better than mom. Sometimes when adults give you counsel as an adult, it's best to listen. It is. Like I said before, man, your mother or whoever, raised you, they're miles down the same road that you're traveling, the road we all travel. Life is in the straight line. There's just different paths along the straight line. And depending on how, the decisions we make, it's a reflection of how life turns out for us. She made one wrong turn too many when dealing with this guy. Said they was on again, off again. When I was young, I was one of those people where I don't do on again, off again. Once I'm sure that this ain't gonna work, we just end it. Or if she feels it ain't work, we end it. I respect that. There's more than just one woman on the planet, and more than one man. Trust me, no matter who you are out there, somebody putting your hands on you, or you putting your hands on them, is always a recipe for disaster. And life don't begin with that person, and it shouldn't end with that person either. There are multiple people on the planet Earth, and you came across this person by circumstance. Life is a reflection of what we either do or do not do at any given time to have us where we presently are. And this type of stuff is just tragic. I mean, seriously. If he treated her like trash, she could have been treasure for somebody else. But then again, you see the stories I do sometimes, guys, and it's hard to even get away from people nowadays. But they so obsessed with you know, failure in being seen as a failure in a relationship, or just abandonment issues. Either way, man, it's tragic. Like I said, I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I don't want this to happen to nobody, male or female. But domestic violence is something that's rising with more and more people not able to resolve conflict. Also, with the rise of females acting more masculine and feeling as though they got the right to hit on men, and it's unfortunate. See you in the next video. Take care.